very good evening. Welcome to BCN News. The power outages experienced overnight was due to the backup generator failing at around 9 last night, and the 10:30 p.m. load demand was far too high for one generator to provide power supply to the island. That's according to the manager for Niue Power Corp, Hui Paola, who has apologized for the unplanned power shutdown. Paola authorized staff to shut down the power to allow one generator to recharge the batteries back up to 40 to 50%, which was at 17%. An energy advisor, David Wright, is currently on the island assessing the renewable energy project. BCN News also asked him about the intermittent power supply.
To all of our embarrassment, there is an intermittent problem somewhere in the system, which again was illustrated clearly this morning with problems. And we are still trying to find out what it is, because obviously we have the existing generators, we have the new system, we have a controller, and all of these parts have got to communicate and talk to each other, and somewhere in that talking there is a fault which at this stage happens every so intermittently, and we're still trying to resolve what the actual fundamental problem is. So the intent is to get the people back up on island to work together to resolve just what that fault is and fix it.
Wright's visit to Niue is supported by the New Zealand High Commission, aligned with the MFAT assistance for Niue's renewable energy target.
I'm here working and advising around the renewable energy project. As you will be aware, that we have completed the first stage of that with the installation of the renewable energy, the solar system, the 600 kilowatts out at the near the hospital, and the Tesla battery system at the powerhouse. And now we're up here starting to think around the second stage to port in some additional renewable energy and battery system. We've also got some work that needs to be done with the existing system, but this is all in support of Niue's goal to get up to 80% renewable energy by 2025. Which is an absolute neat thing to do, because it takes you off expensive diesel generation, it makes the electricity more affordable, it's obviously renewable energy, so that's good. So, and in doing this, we also want to ensure that we have got a reliable and safe supply.
The Appropriation Bill 2019-2020 has been passed by the Fono Eke Pule yesterday after the third and final reading. According to the Treasury, the actual numbers have been updated. However, there have been no changes to the figures. There will be minor changes to the names of the department line items. What used to be the line item called the Premier's Department will now be called the Office of the Secretary to Government. Speaking to BCN News, the acting Premier, Honourable Billy Talangi, commended the performance of government departments that met their revenue targets.
Some of the revenues were not met by some of the departments. Some other departments go beyond the estimated revenue to collect, and they go beyond that. It is very good to know that they have achieved their goals. Expenditure-wise, well, as usual. Sometimes the other items that for expenditure has not been achieved, and the committee cushions some of those estimates, but the reality is they are just estimates. But most of the things we depend on the revenue. If more revenue we collect, then we will spend.
Meanwhile, opposition MP Terry Koh says there should have been an increase in budget allocations for key departments.
To me, the education, health need the increases, but also the social welfare. We should have had the people had an increase in the pension amount to $500 a fortnight, and also the cost of living for the public servants. There's nothing there. It's no use saying we're going to put it in, and that's, when are we going to get it? Next year prior to the elections or something. So the public servants need it now, because the cost of living is so high at the moment, and it's increasing all the time.
And the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee, Maureen Melekitama, delivered the report of the committee's recommendations on the budget before the Fono yesterday. She expressed her gratitude to all the government officials who appeared before the committee during their deliberations of the draft estimates over the past 3 weeks. Honorable Melekitama also expressed her disappointment at the turnout of some of the members of the committee.
I note that these members in particular are the ones that come to the assembly meeting and ask the questions, but there is that opportunity to ask directly to the ministers themselves and get it from the horse's mouth and understand it from that point. But I guess, I don't know what they think, so I can't really say. But that's the disappointment from that perspective, is the commitment from all the committee members. But I acknowledge the commitment from the rest of the committee, who have been there throughout the duration of two and a bit weeks. So it's been good.
Meanwhile, Common Roll member Crosley Tatui clarified in the Fono that the report implicated him as being one of these members, but he clarified that he attended the PAC meetings. The oil spill from the Australian yacht which hit the reef on the east coast of the island has been prevented from spreading. Officials of the Joint Rescue Coordination have been at the site this week assessing the wreckage and have also pumped out the oil from the yacht. Meanwhile, the American couple of the yacht called Kai, Brian Rodwell and Lorraine Weir, who were rescued from the east coast of the island, are still recovering in hospital. The couple's yacht ran aground on the east coast of the island in the early hours of Monday morning. The two passengers both managed to swim to shore but sustained injuries. BCN News understands the couple were finally taken to hospital at 6:30 p.m. on Monday after a whole day of rescue efforts. The incident happened between the village of Liku and Hakupu. This is the second incident involving the rescue of yachts. Last week there was another rescue mission to tow in a yacht from the west of Niue due to engine failure. United Nations Conference on Trade and Development representatives Gillian Frager and Seo Lee are currently on the island conducting a national validation workshop with key project team and primary stakeholders as part of obligatory requirements and transparency in endorsing the PESA Plus. PESA Plus, or the Pacific Agreement on Closer Economic Relations Plus, is an agreement between 9 Pacific Island countries and Australia and New Zealand to improve trade and information pertaining to imports and exports. Visiting Economic Affairs Officer Gillian Frager explained to us what PESA Plus means for Niue and the countries that have endorsed.
This PESA Plus agreement will cooperate between the Pacific Islands and signatory countries, improving trade between them. In this case, again, UNCTAD, we are here to, inside of all the things that PESA Plus agreement has, we will working on the transparency measures, making procedures, import-export procedure, clearly transparent to everyone.
He explained more about the workshop, including the Niue portal beneficial for trade, enhancing transparency obligations, which any user can compare with other countries. And finally, a special Penina tour was arranged yesterday by the Niue Council of Women, taking the elderly out and about around Niue, starting with the Taonga Museum. President of the Niue Council of Women, Nongi Paumale, informed the tour is not a new one, but part of the annual event calendar to enable the elders to get a view and tour the island. As a first stop and one very important one, says Nongi, the group was greeted and welcomed with a special reception put on by the Taonga Museum. All marveled at the inside of the building, but were especially impressed by the efforts of the Taonga staff to really showcase Taonga and their new workplace. Nongi extended her gratitude to Taonga and Moira's team, as with Stan Kaloni and Rupina Morrissey, for granting the tour buses for them to use for the day. The group from their visit to Taonga drove off to enjoy lunch at the scenic Matavai Resort. And that's BCN News for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.